It's honestly been great. I think like just already knowing what they about, how they play. I think it just kind of fits my mo. And I know they got a chip on their shoulder, and I always carry a chip on mine. So I feel like it'll be a good match, and I'm having fun, man. I was like, I'm having fun, and that's the most important. So.
How weird of an experience was it to go from the Liberty you spent some time with, and then your first game with the Lynx team in New York, the visitors locker room, just kind of all that stuff?
Yeah, no, it was definitely an emotional week, just kind of, figuring out, like, what's next for me, because I was in the midst of going home, honestly, when I got the call, so trying to just figure it out, and I'm still young, too, so it was just a lot I ain't never dealt with. I mean, I spent 5 years in one school. I ain't never, really changed teams, but it was cool, man, and then, like I told him, I said, game, we got the dub, so my first game as the Lynx was a dub, so that's all I cared about.
Does that chip on your shoulder come from being an undrafted player and really scratching your way to stay on a WNBA roster?
Honestly, I think it just came from everything, for real. Like, I always been told I was too small. I always been kind of looked over. So I mean, I just walk with it because I always know I'm gonna bet on myself no matter what. Betting on myself is what got me here. So that's just kind of how I carry myself.
What was that moment getting the call like? Was it an exciting moment knowing that you're coming to the best team in the league?
No, definitely. When I went undrafted, my 2 training camp offers was Minnesota and New York. So I already had a conversation with Sherrod a year or so ago. And then she came to a couple games in Boulder when I was in college. So I kind of had a couple talks with her. So I was just excited. She talked about the plan. She talked about, what she saw in me. So I was just like, let's get it, man.
What's the impression of, you're playing behind Courtney, T, Lindsay's obviously on the coaching staff. Just what's that point guard look like?
It's great. I think, they're very open. I ask a lot of questions because I just, it's new. So they just been cool, man. They answer all my questions. They cool. They supportive. They're very encouraging too. So it's very comfortable, and I'm not out here playing not to mess up. I can play free and I can just be myself. So
when's the hair turning pink?
the whole head probably never. I told him I might get one little lock in there or something, but I can't do the whole head. That's crazy.
Mac, I wanted to ask something Cheryl said post-game was that Lan should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. And just what do you think about that, how she's elevated her game from a blocking perspective too, and kind of backing you guys up as the anchor defensively?
Yeah, they asked me this in Barclays after the game too. I think right now in the scope of the league, Lan is most underrated for what she does. She's on the best team in the league, but she probably does more and puts her body on the line more than any of us. And so I just think we're not sitting 27-5 without Lan, and it starts on defense. She takes responsibility for the best post player, deflections, rebounds, steals. I think it's just her and Fee who are always our deflection winners. So I just think that it's mild, very underrated what she does for us on the defensive end. I think that just looking at the third quarter of that New York game, she changed everything. Just getting up, deflections. And she just has no fear, and I think that's what you need in your defensive players, especially as post players. And I think she's been one of the best all year.
She stepped into that role pretty seamlessly on day one last year. How have you seen her even grow beyond what is already all-star level player to just where she is now at this point?
Yeah, she holds herself such a high standard. She's harder on herself than anybody else can be on her. So we see that every day in practice. She's just working, grinding. She wants to be great for us. That's what you guys see. It's just a culmination of her work, her mentality, and like I said, just putting her body on the line. She's going against people bigger than her, I guess technically stronger than her, and she just never backs down. And she just wants to make those plays, and she wants to be in those moments, and she has been. She stepped up huge for us for sure all season.
Cheryl's also talked about too just the belief that you guys have, and this even goes back to last year. I mean, how was that really evident, especially on the road against New York, and how you guys have been able to just keep winning in this stretch even without Fee too?
Yeah, it's experience, it's trust, resilience, and we're just a competitive group of people. It's so funny, whether it's the practice guys in practice or with one another off the court, we're just really, really competitive. And like Jay said, we just had this giant chip on our shoulder. Everybody wants to talk about what happened last year, but we're the ones that walked out the court, carried it. And so how are we going to respond this year individually and collectively, I think has been our MO. And we're all doing it in our separate ways, but we're all doing it for each other, and I think that's the best thing. So when you get in those moments and you get in those spaces, we have so much trust and belief in ourselves, but then also one another and the things that we've been through and things that we've been carrying. And that's what you see right now. And it's just a lot of fun. I can't explain it. This is some of the most fun I've been having playing basketball this last year and a half, 2 years. And that's just what I feel. Like, I don't feel anything else. I don't feel the pressure. I don't feel anything like that. I just feel like we're just enjoying the journey together, and that's been the best part.
Dejanay's kind of downplayed it a couple times of just being able to come into a brand new team and fit in like seamlessly defensively. How rare is that for somebody to just join a team mid-season and just click that fast?
I mean, I think it says a lot about her and who she is as a pro. Her ability to kind of adjust. It's everybody's like has to do a little bit, shift a little bit in order to make it work. And we understand that. That's part of being a pro. The whole week was just weird. You know, it was just different. You know, it's just hard. Like when you're in August, you don't expect this much change, and we've had a lot of it over the last 2 weeks. So I think that's a testament to us, but then also a testament to who we're bringing in, which is just good people. And Nay is one of those people, and I think her ability to just compete at a high level. She came from playing with somebody like Alyssa Thomas, and in that system, I think really helped her as well. But she was already a great basketball player before that. And, you know, like I said, we're happy to have her. It's a luxury, and I said that after in the post game, to have somebody like her who's been in those situations, who's been on opposite of me too, like somebody who's been my matchup or who has been matched up against me, knowing that's who is, you know, you're able to like swap defenders with or your defensive assignment with is just, it's huge. But then also just on the offensive end, just being a good basketball player, you know, getting offensive rebounds and running the floor, and we didn't really change much. We just added her in and just let it go, and that says a lot about her.
I mean, Cheryl's talked about it a couple times with Lan. We always talked about Lan being the matchup she didn't like to go against in Chicago. Was that kind of a conversation with you too when there was talks about bringing in Dejanay, whether it was this last offseason or this offseason, of like how is its matchup against her?
There was never any conversation. Cheryl trusts me to, you know, be a pro at all times. Obviously, when you're competing between the four lines, there's always things that happen, and whatever, people can create that narrative if they want to. I was happy to have another competitor on our side, and that's all that mattered to me. I knew what she was going to be about. I knew she was going to come in and help us win, and that was it. So, of course, like when you have another dog across who maybe giving you problems or whatever, of course I want her on my side, you know? So I was just happy that I'm happy she's here. I'm happy she's happy to be here, and, you know, fitting seamlessly. That's the most important thing for us.